Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight Business by GTApreneurs. I'm Tammy Defoe, president and founder, business coach, and sales trainer. I'm happy to introduce to you today Anne Klausner. She's an exercise therapist, and I'm happy to say she will be the guest speaker at our next business networking event online next Wednesday, April the 12th at 12 o'clock. So thanks for coming today, Anne. Please tell us more about yourself.
Thank you so much for inviting me today, Tammy. I'm really, really excited to be here sharing myself and my business with you. I've been working in health and wellness for 22 years. It goes by so fast. I started when my kids were little, when I realized that working in corporate doesn't make me happy and I need something to be a happier person so I can be a better mother, a better person, a better member of my community. And I started to investigate health and wellness, reflexology, and I somehow made it to the area of hydrotherapy. I always loved water, I've always loved swimming, and hydrotherapy was really my dream job at the time. I was working in a hospital environment, in a therapy pool, learned so much. I came to Canada. This was in Israel. I lived in Israel at that time. We came to Canada, and unfortunately, there isn't much hydrotherapy going on here. I did find one clinic in Maple that had a therapy pool. They went bankrupt, and I was like, okay, I've got to reinvent myself. So I certified as a personal trainer, and to my amazing good luck, the very first conference that I went to, there was a workshop on neurology, which I've always been one of those weird people who loves to read books about neurology. And I was just like, this is it, I'm home. And ever since then, I've been continuing to attend courses both in Canada and in the US, continuing to read and to build my knowledge of neurology. And it's just been a total game changer for the way I work, for the results I get, and even for myself, even for the way I feel today in my own body.
Fantastic. And so, so for exercise therapy, because from personal training, I used to be a personal trainer actually many years ago. You'll know that, right? So for me, it was more about helping people lose weight, build muscle, gain energy, things like that. So, how did you transition from that regular personal trainer to therapist? Like, what made you kind of want to specialize in therapy?
Once you understand the neurology, I mean, your muscles don't move without your nervous system. Nothing moves without your nervous system. Nothing happens. So once I started to understand that, I can just give a few small examples. We have muscles that control our eyes. Like any other muscle, if those muscles are weak, our eyes droop, our brain doesn't get enough information. Once your eyes are drooping, your posture droops. I can tell you till I'm blue in the face, stand up straight. It's not going to help because unless your eyes can look to the horizon, you cannot lift your body. Or another one, this is for the women out there. No one tells women that, that scar from the C-section, if you didn't work on it to rehab it, that's very likely the cause of your back pain because the nerves were cut. The nervous system was interrupted by that scar. So we work on regaining sensation around that scar. And scars can be anywhere in our body. People have injuries, surgeries all over their body, and they don't understand that that tiny little scar from 30 years ago may be the reason that your ankle is still hurting you.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's really cool, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I would have no idea, right? You just figure, it heals just a scar. You don't really want to look at the scar, but no idea that could cause other issues.
Yeah, we have a scar and we try to work on the muscle and we don't pay attention to the fact that that area of the scar is still numb. So if the area of the scar is still numb, your brain doesn't know where that is. Because your brain only knows where something is based on the information coming from your skin at that point in your body.
Interesting.
If your brain can't see it and your brain can't feel it, your brain can't move it. It's like that simple. Yeah.
How does that relate to some people who have, they have a limb removed and then they call it phantom limb syndrome and they can feel their foot even though their foot's not there anymore?
Yeah. That's pretty freaky, right? Yeah, because your brain is constantly searching for that information. It's like the default channel on the TV. The brain's searching you don't even have to go that extreme. Even chronic pain, there's really no injury. The injury is healed. Something happened to you years ago and you still feel that pain. It's just sort of a default system. Your brain's like, I don't know what's going on there, so I'm going to interpret any message or lack thereof as pain. So it's a matter of taking something, there's people who this can be really nice, just a gentle touch, and for other people that's excruciating. It's just a miscalibration of the nervous system. So we work on taking different sensations, vibrations, something soft, maybe hot, cold, and just trying to get the brain to recognize the correct sensation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then pain management, that's something you help people with. Can you kind of just list off all the different types of ways you help people?
So pain is a big one. I've helped so many people after pain. I have clients post-surgery, pre-surgery, after car accidents. I've had quite a few clients who, the therapists have always said, that's as far as you're going to go. And the difference between me and the traditional physiotherapist, and I have high respect for physiotherapy, right? There's definitely, they do wonderful work, but they are taught for the most part to focus on the location of the injury. Shoulder hurts, work the shoulder. Whereas I'll look at the entire person and say, I can see your shoulder hurts, but I can also see that you're tilting. You're not standing straight, and that comes back to your eyes and your balance system, or maybe your opposite hip has a weird position in that leg. So if we fix the leg, your shoulder's going to stop compensating. I'll look at the whole body. I'm not really looking at that one specific point. So it's a totally different way of working. And there are more and more therapists who are starting to do this, but it's kind of a new thing in the world of physiotherapy.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's amazing. I've heard of people in the past that they're like, I've seen all the therapists out there, I've been to chiropractor, I've been to physio, and nothing helps the pain.
Yeah.
I just guess I have to live with it, right? So it's good that you provide something that's a little bit different from what's out there right now. That can give them hope that maybe there is another way they can, solve this issue naturally.
Absolutely. And if it's somebody who's not in an area that I serve, or, they're working on Zoom is very tricky when people have a lot of pain or they're off balance, but I have a network of people with whom I cross-refer. We cross-refer to each other. There's actually a site of people that I can locate in the US who have this kind of training as well. So I'm always happy to help people. I want to work with everybody, but I can't work with everybody. So I'm really happy to cross-refer to someone who has this training of the neurology and can help people live. We have to get out of this mindset that pain is normal when you're over 50.
Yes.
It's not.
I know. You know what? I dated this guy, like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, right? And he was going to be turning 50, and he went to the doctor because he had this whatever pain he had, and his doctor said, "How old are you?" "I'm turning 50." He goes, "There you go. Well, that's your answer."
No.
Like, how helpful is that, right?
I'm speechless. Yeah.
People just figure, it's just part of getting old, right? And because you figure, even over 40, but if they over 50, you're over the hill. It's just things start to fall apart. But well, that's the thing. People, they don't have the education. They don't know any better, because most people are not, in the exercise therapy space. They maybe have never heard us before. Maybe they don't even exercise at all. Some people just like, I hate exercising and that kind of thing, right? But these are things that, it's not medication. Where painkillers are not, sometimes you need them, right? But other times it's not like a long-term strategy you want to be going with, right? So if there's something else they can do, and it's simple, it's not like you're going to tell people you need to like exercise for, 5 hours a day, right? It's something simple that they can incorporate a little bit into their day, likely to get some results.
Yeah, and I have to say, again, I have high regard for doctors, but I know I have someone very close to me in my family who's in medical school. They receive no education on nutrition. They receive no education on movement patterns, about exercise. There's so much science that they have to learn, that they're not learning this. And that's fine, but I do wish that they would start to refer to other experts around them and not just say it's normal at your age.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Or here, let me figure what pill I can
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, like when I had my back injury, actually, well, originally it was about 6 years ago and my chiropractor fixed me up like 90%. I figure, okay, this is just how it's going to be. I couldn't stay in one spot for very long because of the pain. And my family doctor wouldn't even take an x-ray because he's like, oh, that can cause cancer. And meanwhile, if he would have taken it. And so what happened was I went to do a deadlift and my back went crunch, right? And so actually the bone broke. When I saw my family doctor, who was clearly, I don't know where he got his license from, but actually I won't name the school, but he goes, "Oh, it sounds like arthritis." I'm like, really? I'm a super fit lady, and I went bent over, my back went crunch, and now I have all the pain, and you think that's arthritis, right? So anyways, and then said the chiropractor didn't use an x-ray either. He just did whatever. And then I was always driving. When I came to the GTA and I took my car off the road, then I had to carry everything with me, right? And that's when my back got worse and worse. And it became so painful, I had to be in a wheelchair because I couldn't even stand or walk anymore. And it turned out that since my spine did broke, it pulled the hip in, it was squished in the sciatic nerve like 24/7, right? But the point is that basically the doctors were like, okay, well, we're going to send you to the pain clinic. So you get these injections in your back every how much longer. Well, first of all, they didn't work. But second of all, that's just the answer they give you is take these pain pills, because surgery is 2 years away. You have to get on the waiting list. So if I would have known you, then I maybe could have gotten out of pain a lot faster.
Right. Right. And if they had managed, if the doctor had even taken the time to look at you as you move, he might have seen compensatory movements. He might have seen that something is off and investigated further. But basically, you're already sitting down in the room when they come in. They're not looking at how you move. They're just writing that script.
Yep, exactly. And so you know what? Actually, how I ended up getting better was I had gone fitted for some orthotics like a few months before I ended up in a wheelchair. And so when I was walking, because she made me walk, she goes, it looks like one hip is short, longer than the other one, and that kind of thing, right? I'm like, well, that's really weird. I've never had that problem before. And so she's like, okay, I'll put a little bit of a lift in it, right? So when I went to pick them up, I had progressed to a walker and that. So I went to pick them up, put them on, and for 2 steps, I felt better. And then I went back to being in pain. So I'm like, okay, can you measure me? So then it ended up being my right side from my hip to my knee was 2 centimeters shorter than my left. But not because the bone's actually shorter. It's just because it had gotten pulled in when my spine broke, and it was switching the sciatic nerve. No doctor looked into that, right? And so then I ended up putting extra lifts in the one, like extra, and then it took pressure off the sciatic nerve. So this is the thing out there. You know, people, a lot of good doctors do. We need doctors, a lot of good things to do, but unfortunately, they're just not getting the sort of care you're doing. They're not getting the holistic thing when they're looking at you. And so people out there need to know that if you're in pain and you don't want to keep taking pain pills and nothing else is working, then see Anne. Because
unless you've had a hip or knee replacement, your legs don't shrink, the bones don't shrink. So if your joints, if your legs, your limbs were always even, they don't suddenly shrink when you're 50.
Nope. And you know what? Not the chiropractor, not the doctor, not other doctors. Nobody asked me to walk to look how I walked or measure anything.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear this story, but I'm so happy to see that you're recuperated today.
Yeah. And you know what? The only reason is because I took kinesiology in school, right? And I know anatomy and physiology and stuff like that. And then I clued in when the lady said that one leg's shorter than the other one, that, you know, and all that sort of thing. But other people, they would never have. They would just take the pain stuff.
Yes.
You know, so anyways, the point is more people need to know about you. So can you tell us some success stories with clients you've had?
Oh yeah, okay. So I'll give one really cool example of a lady who was in a car accident, finished physiotherapy. She couldn't lift her right arm more than 90 degrees like this. You know, and all the therapists said, well, it's as good as you're going to get. But when I assessed her, I saw that her arm was lacking sensation. She really couldn't feel much, and that her right eye wasn't moving from the impact, from the accident. She'd had some damage here, and she wasn't able to move her right eye out to the side. So for 3 weeks, really, all we did were eye exercises and just different kinds of sensation on her arm. And by the 3rd week, she was lifting it all the way up. And even to me, that was actually like 3 years ago when I was fairly new at this, and I was like, whoa. Yeah, I've had a guy who last year had knee surgery. We were actually working together before. Here's another big one. People are sitting weird at their desks. People are in these weird workspaces, so they don't realize the desk is here, the monitor is here, so their head is always turned, and then they're walking through life with their head rotated like this, which is causing neck pain, back pain. So that's the reason I started with this gentleman, actually a young guy in his 30s. We worked out the ergonomics, but then he thought he was Superman and he jumped off a loading dock and blew out his knee. So I worked on him pre-surgery, post-surgery. The surgery was last May, and he's registered to run a marathon this May. And he's like, Anne, you're training me for the marathon. I'm like, I don't know how to train people to run, but I'm working on it, you know, thank God for YouTube. And he's going to run in that marathon, and he's really doing amazing. So I'm really proud of that story. And just, another guy, someone our age, he's retired, was exposed to a lot of chemicals during his working career. So he has a lot of respiratory issues. And again, the doctors, like you said, just put him on medication. Nobody even suggested respiratory therapy or exercise. We started working together about a year ago. A lot of breath work, a lot of mobility, because his body became so stiff from coughing and not breathing. So a lot of mobility of the torso. And last December, he joined his daughter on a trip to South Africa, and he hiked that mountain in Cape Town. And I tell people, I don't do miracles, but I also don't want to see you for the rest of your life. I want you to get your life back.
Yeah. 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 And you know what? I really like that about you, because there's some therapists out there that, their goal is to make people dependent. I keep coming back.
It's a business plan, right? It's a business model.
Right, exactly. You keep coming back, and they have to, to keep every time they want to feel better, right? And that's no good. But I think it's good. Like, again, I just learned something new, even though I have the science background, exercise background, right? About how, because the whole nervous system, right? People, they don't know the brain, the spinal cord, but then it branches off into all the parts of the body, then they, innervates the muscles and different things. So with having the scar or having something here, again, I would have had no idea. Other people may not know that maybe that's the reason for your shoulder pain or whatever. So the
Absolutely.
fact, you can go in there and kind of look at the whole system as an assessment. And then, because once you can cure these little things, well, not curing, but you're, sort of fixing these things, then the other stuff's going to become way faster, right? Like maybe the person used to be a runner, and then, maybe you didn't turn them into, like back to being a runner again, like in terms of training them as a, athleticism. However, because you solved this issue that was holding them back, now that you're kind of like, now that the floodgates are open, now they can just, the sky's the limit. What they do.
This guy's never done a marathon before, but he's like, I know I can do it. He's just like, he wants to prove to himself that he's back to himself. He's always been very athletic, no specific sport other than golf, but he's always liked a variety of sports. And this is just his little life proving to himself that, yeah, I'm better. I've got this. Yeah. So it's very gratifying. It's really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, Anne, I'm really looking forward to having you be our guest speaker next Wednesday. And so if you out there have not got your ticket yet, please do so. The registration link is below. Anne will be presenting from 12:10 till 12:30. After that, you'll be able to give your elevator pitch if you want to introduce your business. If you're not a business owner, that's okay. Come on out too and listen to Anne. You can learn some great tips. And I'm sure she's more than happy to give a free consultation as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, look, you enjoy the rest of your day, Anne.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tammy. I've really enjoyed speaking with you.
You're welcome. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.